Hello, this is Dark Voyeur. I want to explain the comments I have made about African immigrants, which are predominantly African black immigrants that have that have the highest educational attainment in America. There's a lot of excuses that the Eurobozos, which Eurobozo means white supremacist, try to use to basically scoff at this so they can maintain white supremacy or maintain their belief in white supremacy. The first one is that these African immigrants have benefited from affirmative action. Well, even if they have benefited from affirmative action, affirmative action, they don't give degrees to African immigrants because of affirmative action. The last time I checked, there's no degrees given to blacks or Asians due to filling a quota for affirmative action. Yes, in the admissions process, during the admissions process, you can say that some of these African immigrants have benefited from affirmative action. I've heard in elite universities like Harvard and Yale, most of the black students are not from America, they are from Africa. So number one, obviously most African immigrants are black Negroid. And number two, yes, there is a quota system that can be argued. There can be argued that there's a quota system in the universities that favor African immigrants. But that's besides the point. Who fucking cares? The bottom line is that the people who are in those colleges, the African immigrants that are in those colleges, are obtaining college degrees more than any other ethnic group in America, including European Americans, including white Americans, and including black Americans. Well, then the Eurobozos go, well, education attainment does not measure intelligence. Well, I don't have facts and data to back this up, but I'm suspecting that most of these African immigrants are taking courses in math and science. Just my preconceived notion, just based on some of the rumors I've listened to. Most of these guys major in either math, science, or business. So those types of subjects are compatible with having a high IQ. Now, I don't know their GPAs, because I'm sure the Eurobozos will say, well, I guarantee you that they spend numerous amounts of time studying and they don't get any grades better than C's. I guarantee you. Okay. Every single African immigrant. But anyways, I'll look and see what their GPAs are. Although GPA does not measure, overall intelligence like they say. But I'll look into that. But the bottom line is that there's no way to spin it. Okay. These African immigrants have the highest attainment of education in the United States. And these African immigrants are in the schools, okay, compared to, and they're comparing this to the whites that are always passed over by blacks in schools in terms of SATs. So they're doing this against the whites that have higher SAT scores. Obviously, they gotta have skyrocketing SAT scores if we're gonna say that affirmative action is the reason why all these African immigrants are in, like the white supremacists claim. They're doing it against whites who have 1,600 on their SATs, because we all know that all these Negroids, underqualified Negroids, are in college. So Still, it doesn't explain why they have the highest attainment of education in the United States. I think the only explanation you can even think of is that they bust their ass in school. That's what I've been arguing about in terms of black underachievement in education, but white supremacists want to act like, that's just an excuse. But here we see African immigrants, which are a good enough statistical example, over 1 million people, clearly outclass African Americans in educational achievement. It's just a fact. And I would like to add that they are outclassing African Americans and white Americans, and many white Americans in educational achievement, coming from vastly inferior schools. I mean, the other excuse is that these guys there's a higher selective process. When it comes to Africa, people are selecting Africans. They're more selective of Africans. They're picking the best Africans out of Africa. Well, why would they not be picking the best Europeans out of Europe, or the best, best Asians out of Asia? I mean, that doesn't hold any damn water. Really? I mean, think about it. These dudes are like, it's a higher selection process for Africans. Well, where's the data that supports this, first of all? You don't know this. Oh, they come from middle-class families. Well, no shit, Sherlock. So do the Asian families, and so do the European families. Seriously. I mean, I've seen European students come over here. I mean, they're probably from middle-class families, too. And I don't think all of those African immigrants are from middle-class families, as some of our race realists and white supremacists, which may be mutually exclusive or inclusive, contend. I mean, I don't see any facts and data supporting that. I don't know how you guys just come up with that. I mean, anti-racists are expected to come with facts and data to disprove race realist theories. But yet, when we present these facts of African immigrants, it's not just that. I've presented other facts that race realists are they scoff at. But the bottom line is that African immigrants have the highest educational attainment in America. And I've seen one critic, it's probably a race realist, said, well, in England they had this. It's the same pattern in England too. And I think he's a race realist. He's trying to argue that these African immigrants spent like hours and hours studying. It takes them years to get out of college. It takes them like 6 or 7 years to get out of college. Okay, that may be true, so what? Okay, did you notice that they probably are working 2 or 3 jobs? That already disproves your theory that these guys are coming from middle income families. They're the best and brightest from Africa. They're the best and brightest. This study is biased. I mean, I haven't seen any studies. I just hear theories. I'm sure many of these guys come from poor countries. I mean, Nigeria is relatively poor compared to the rest of the world. I mean, those are the people who lead. I'm not sure, but I'm pretty confident those are the people that's the black ethnic group that leads in immigration in terms of numbers coming out of Africa and in college. Still, absolutely nothing from white supremacist groups, or I won't say white pride, because there may be a difference between white supremacy and white pride, but white race realist. I mean, these same people. Here's the biggest thing. I'll get to that in my next take.